what everyone knows. The white man's the devil was known. America was never our home. Only a place of captivity, safe facility, hating, disfigure me. They claim that I'm lazy, be killing me. Maybe this slavery draining my energy. 400 years and counting. The trail of my tears is counting. The fact that I'm here is astounding, but I can't wait till this shit is surrounded. Ready to tangle my king and the angel, be ready to rap. Cracking the sky, capturing every crack, I'm surviving. She's wet me through.
Just how it feels. Payback is a door. Payback is a door.
Look, ain't no remorse in my blood cell. It won't be no compromise. Now it's time to feed the worms. Watch his body turn to flies. I clutch iron while you trust the lies. The next Glock I buy gon' be Gen 5. I get it customized. And sending shots off like farewell. Praying payback come back around like a carousel. Still remember YAHANNA's words ringing in my head like bells. Said you in his body, you fit the Lord, fuck the cocktail. Triangle choke, apply pressure to the game like I did Vondale. Payback's a bitch in a dress, she a bombshell. Revenge is served cold, I just hope they make an oxtail. Glock fresh out the box, I swear got that new car smell. Made myself a target in the world of mad shooters. There was designed fire for our babies to pass through it. And the day of our king's reign, I'll be overzealous. They bought my jealous, I bought brand new pair of bellows.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a door. Payback is a door.
I got you. Let it rap real quick. Look. City eyes. It's time to vote God. My God, a real nigga. Cause he wasn't no flaw. Posted on the corner like a watchdog. Family secure, got that shotty in the closet by the mob ball. Fuck what they heard, but tell them it's all true. Be cautious, that foundation falls till you fall through. They gon' fall. Look, I keep this shit 50 times 2. Ain't no more heart in this game, I'm John Q. Told it in the avalanche, way above average. Fierce taste, sweet, told to make me an apple tree. Left us in the valley full of bones, this where hope found. Java, come on, man. Dark sands get broke down. Riding through Evans to a mall quad. Telling me how the crackers turn his childhood to a ghost town. Focus nigga, I lay that game down. I feel his pain cause nothing is the same now. Let my light shine like heaven through a rain cloud. Glock have a fit like my child, no plans. Try to warn them niggas we bear arms like tarantula. Them other niggas rap, I make anthems. I really seen prophets under this banner. Made my enemies bow down on camera. Told my design I wanted black and white like a panda. I'm better than that nigga that sunk dirt in the handle. Look, I move like a Brazilian, precious cargo, spirit Asian, but I got a new semi-auto. Wave that bitch around like where's Waldo. Sleep if they won't, I cut through they Z's like I'm Zorro. Hate me for his name, so I gotta keep that steel clutch. Trust me, I'm not what you think. I squeeze till it click like Dorothy when the heels touch. The world got me dumb, I don't feel much. Round with Yara, just left the state bridge. Looking for a bitch better than Baby's kid. Remember I dropped Quiet Storm, I've been gone ever since. Still in the field, fuck them niggas on the fence, yeah.
all the messed up, no. Bad news is to beat your home, nigga. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on, get on that ass real quick one time. 144, baby.
They said you get on, you gon' represent. I said, of course. Soon as they crank that bitch, I ride that bitch just like a horse. She about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, me whole car. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I go with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You either low or this Lord, so that bitch is either or. Yeah, I know them niggas ain't cut like that. I swear I'm to our core. Wait up, let me make a call right quick. I'ma start another war. I was hurting when she left, but I don't care about any part. I need a Vaseline like my Nina Puffer bar. Took a sock, watch the dark. Matter of fact, like a dart. Any problem, let them come. We gon' snatch they soul like Shane Shaw. Put them out of service, keep them tools like Miss Harvey. Try to hope it's way too late. I'm headed straight to the safe. Throw that one up like a trophy. I'm that nigga, ain't no debate. Told them boys we taking notes. Call them up like set the date. This shit a piece of cake. Yeah, my bitches came from Whole Foods. Told them put on that top 3. Then bring me my house shoes. Don't make excuses, make moves. These niggas ungrateful, gotta show them U.P.K rules. I make hits like I can't lose. They say you get on, you gon' represent. I said, of course. Soon as they crank that beat, I ride that bitch just like a horse. She about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, the whole car. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I come with the fart. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You either low or this Lord, so that bitch is either or. Yeah, I know them niggas ain't cut like that. I swear I'm to our core. Yeah, I just got off the call. I'ma start another war. Spit a plate up with my niggas, get your knife and your fart. They ain't locked in with the cow, then what you speaking to me for? Yeah, I just took the fart. Ain't no cowards in my campaign. They can't stop the campaign. Tell them bring the champagne.
Check. Multi-Chris. What you mean? Possibly.
Check. All right, let's clap it up. Hey, shalom. Yahweh Shem Yahushua Rakathon to my brothers. Yahweh Shem Alatham Shem Yahushua to my sisters. We are the I.S.U.P.K. Start out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, operating under the leadership of Commander General YAHANNA. We're not affiliated with no other Israelite group, Muslim mosque, Christian church, whatever you have it out there. The Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. We stand on our own toes, our own merit. We're bringing this truth out since 1969 that the Jews, you understand, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the real Jews of the Bible of antiquity, man. You understand? It's Friday night, right? So what we do in the formal fashion of Friday night, we go over things that are pertinent to the language. You understand what I'm saying? What I've learned with my being a Bigo years, right? That you understand, everybody hates Israelites. It is funny to me, you understand, because we know what Christ said. He said, marvel not if the world hated you. No, it hated me first, right? So it's right down the alley of how they have that hate for Christ that they have it for us. But they all, well, you're not Jesus and this and that. No swear, we never said we was. But because we follow him and do the things that he do, you understand, they hated him, just like the Romans hated him. Guess who else hated him? His own people, who was the Pharisees and Sadducees. You understand, they hated him as well. You understand, even where was it not Peter, but Paul held the damn coats of the ones that stoned Stephen. You understand what I'm saying? So when we talk about the things and our customs, it's very unfamiliar to the world, but it's very familiar to the ones that say they follow Christ and actually follow Christ. Because the ones that are saying that they follow Christ, and as far as the Christian church goes, they are celebrating Christmas. They celebrated it yesterday. You understand what I'm saying? I'm arguing with one brother on the Bigo today. He telling me he gave out gifts, he had a Christmas tree, and he had a solemn assembly, or he was with his family. All three of those are things that goes against what God said. He said, I despise your feast days, and I will not smell of your solemn assembly. Anyway, tonight is the Lashawan Qadash. You understand what I'm saying? So if y'all got any questions or anything like that, you understand we're gonna do some review, and then we're gonna get into some more things, right? I want to write down Deuteronomy 7:6 in the Hebrew. You understand? So we can go over that. And then, like I said, if there's anything that y'all want to go over, bring out, you understand, just put it in the group chat. So last week we went over the colors, right? You understand? And I also, before we get into it, once I get after I erase this, I want to show something too. Because I heard somebody say something else today on Bigo, and they were saying that the capitalization and the lowercase of a word changes the meaning and things like that. So we're gonna see if it really changes the meaning, because understand this, when it comes to Hebrew and the transliteration of it, the end all be all and the whole foundation of it is the Hebrew. You understand? And I'm gonna show y'all what I mean. Just with the word gods, because the sister, she was saying that it's confusion in the word God with a little g and God with a uppercase G, right? So we got blue for Thakalat. You understand? Gold is Zahab. Purple is a Ragaman. Beryl or green is the Rosh Yash. Onyx is Shaham, or black for onyx as well. White is Laban. Red is Adawam. We should all know that. Edom. Black is Shakar. Yellow is Tazahar, which is, like I was saying, was kind of wild, because you see the yellow and the gold, they damn near have the same thing, but it's different because of the character. And of course, I forget to erase this board every time. Salaki, y'all bear with me. It be cold in here, man. So this dry erase board, that dang on stuff, it dries up. You understand what I'm saying? Some more of this. All right, here we go. All right, first things first. All right, so let's look up some words, right? And of course, we're gonna get into the word God, right? I think that's be a perfect example. And we're gonna type in God in the Blue Letter Bible. All right. Because I know one that we always go over as well is matter of fact, I'll go to that one first. So Exodus 22, and and 28, right? Oh, no, sorry, I was just bringing out the thing. It says about revile the gods, all right? So now remember, the whole point of what we're talking about is the capitalization, right? Or not, right? Of course, we read Genesis, first chapter, where it says, all right, Genesis 1:1, where it says, in the beginning, God, right? And it's a capitalization. So now we're going to see what's the Strong's Concordance for Genesis, right? And what's the Strong Concordance for Exodus, right? Because remember, the whole point of what the sister was saying was that, you know, when it comes to capitalization, you understand, she's saying that it changes. My argument and what I was saying was that it's the same. You understand? Unless it's just in a different context, right? So we got Genesis 1:1, right? We're reading it. It says, Bara'ashayat Bara'ah Alahayim. So the Strong Concordance for God here is H430. And it says Alahayim. So for Exodus 22, I went to Leviticus, so I can Exodus 22. I still went to Leviticus. What's going on? 22.
Put a 1 in the chat if you can see.
Oh yeah, put a 1 in the chat if y'all can see the screen. Or 1W, so like it. Exodus is the same as that thing. H4:3, which is They got any 1Ws in there? So what we see, right, when it comes to capitalization, it means nothing from the Hebrew. Even in context, right? And I did these two for an example because the word says revile the gods with a S, but it uses Alahayim. But then even in the word, right, with Genesis 1, it says, in the beginning, God, right? Because of the whole transliteration, which we always read in the Apocrypha, the things that was what translated in another tongue have not the same force of them when it's written in its original language. That's the force that it loses. Because again, when we see in Genesis, it says Bara'ashayat Bara'ashayat Bara'ah Alahayim. Right? It's going to be Alahayim all the time when you see that. So even if we was to read that before we even was reading the English, we would know and understand that it's not talking about the Most High, because the only way we'll be talking about the Most High is Yahweh Alahayim, which is Lord God, right? In the transliteration. But because again, it's been transliterated in something, it takes away what it is. So when you see God, everybody automatically thinks the Most High. But guess what? Another God is that it tells us. Psalms 82:6. Haven't I said that ye are gods? The precept of that is what, John 10:34, if I'm not mistaken. Make sure I don't want to be quoting the wrong thing. But that's the first thing what they do. Oh, U.P.K quoted the wrong scripture. That's how you know they look at us as an authority. For us to hold that up much to us. I might know a little something. John 10:34, Yahweh shall answer them, is it not written in your law, I said ye are God? Right? So even if we went into Psalms here, little g, exactly. Psalms here with 82, right? 82:6, I have said ye are gods. Let's see what this one is. Same strong concordance. Same one. I don't know if you can see it. I'll be having a hard time trying to show it. Anyway, it's H430 Alahayam. You understand? So, like we said, like when we talking about the capitalization and all that, that's really not mean much. The importance of the whole thing is what it was transliterated from, which is again, like we know and see, it's the God. Like, I mean, it's like Alahayam, right? You know, because again, I'm gonna show you another one. All right. And this not now, this one, what I'm about to show you is not necessary. Well, I can't say that. I don't know yet. Because I know, for example, we got whenever well, I'm gonna show you two different ones, right? So we know, if y'all are familiar with the story of Moses, right? Moses was told that he would be instead of a god to Aaron, right? I wish I could spell today. Good night. All right. Exodus 4:16. Yeah, I just tried. It is. So Exodus 4:16 said, and he said, he shall be thy spokesman unto the people, and he shall be to thee instead of a mouth, and thou shalt be to him instead of God. All right. So we got God again here. All right. So let's see what the Strong's Concordance of God is here. Same exact Strong's Concordance, which is H430, which is yeah. All right. See if we can find us a lowercase g somewhere. It might be it. God. Okay, I'll show an example of a difference. Genesis 6:5, right? Well, I know y'all gonna be like, well, damn, Qadash, you just said the capitalization don't mean nothing. Hold up. Only point that I'm talking about, right? When the capitalization is because in this one, right, we got G-O-D, all caps. The main point that I'm talking about is just the first letter. When you got little g here and big G here. We see all caps. Even if it's in all caps, if the Hebrew word is not this, right, which is what we got here is H 30 and 68, which is Yahweh, right? And this is, it says, Genesis 6 and 5, you understand, says that God saw the great wickedness of man in the earth, right? The only difference here, like we said, is it's all capitalization. But when, more so what I was talking about in the transliteration, whenever you're transliterating it into the English, just because it has a lowercase g or a lowercase uppercase g doesn't take away the meaning of that word, right? It's just a lot of people get the transliteration convoluted. Let me show you one more, and we're gonna move on, right? Give me a second. Okay, this thing is Genesis 18. Therefore, Sarah laughed in herself, saying, after I am waxed old, shall I have pleasure, my Lord being old also? So this is Genesis, right? Genesis 18 and 12. And the word Lord is like this, all right? Same exact word as the Most High if he was to be used in that context, right? But this Lord here, right, will be Adawan. Oh, that's one. What's that? That she called him Lord, right? Right. That part. Right. Exactly. That's her head. Dang all right. Adawan, right? As we see, you understand the strong concordance is H113. Now I'll go to the next one, right? Verse 13, it says, so it's Genesis 18 and 13. This Lord is all capital. This, I'll say this, when we talk about capitalization, the most important thing to understand, when you see all caps, then you'll know. But in the New Testament, it's kind of difficult to notice that. You understand what I'm saying? Because, like, I'm not sure. And of course, it's the same one here. And notice this, right? It's the same exact strong concordance for Lord and God. You got, which again, that's what I'm telling you. Like the Hebrew is, this is showing you that the Hebrew is superior than the English, right? Because you got God here in Genesis 6 and 5, and then you got Lord here. They're both capitalization, but they mean the same exact strong concordance. Same as that. You feel what I'm saying? I wanted to look up and see, is there any fully all caps in the New Testament? I know when we get into that Greek, it's different. Bear with me. It's a lot of scrolling. I ain't even got past Malachi yet. Oh, there we go. All right. Let's see. I don't know. It's a lot of scriptures you have to look. But I don't necessarily see the Lord all caps. You recall any of that? I don't want any all caps in like the New Testament for Lord. I don't think y'all correct me if I'm wrong on that one. You know what I'm saying? But like even with all these ones that I'm looking at, it's just saying Lord. But I see like a lot of times it says Lord thy God, right? That's how you know a lot of times it's talking about the Most High. Because I know whatever Captain Zarya had that battle with the Most High being Christ the Most High. You know, one of the guys, the oppressor, he tried to use kitty, whatever that was. You understand where it said Lord, Lord, right? But that Lord was not talking about the Most High. Then you got to think about it whenever, was it Timothy or Thomas? Whenever Thomas seen Christ, and he said, my Lord and my God. You understand? He wasn't calling him the Most High. You understand? That was more so like, oh, Lord. Like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, so like I said, I'm not necessarily seeing that, the capitalization. So a lot of times with the Lord, it got to be a context. Because I'll give you an example, right? What's the scripture? One Lord. Is that Ephesians? Ephesians 4 and 5 says, one Lord, one faith, and one baptism. So for us to read that, or anybody that's unlearned to read that and say how Abraham got called Lord, right? Then it would say one Lord. So that means that Sarah would be a liar. But you got to understand, when it comes to our language, everything we say has a context. Just like the word virgin, right? Virgin means a young woman of marriageable age. You understand what I'm saying? But see, today they've taken virgin to mean that a woman that has not laid with a man. You understand? I always bring up the scripture that says that she was I think it was what's her name? It was Rebecca. Rebecca. It was either Rebecca or Leah, but it says she was a virgin. Neither had any man laid with her. So if virgin meant that a man did not lay with a woman, the Bible would not have to put that extra part in there because it's already given. That's like overkill to say, oh, she's a virgin, and virgin means no man lay with her, but also neither no man lay with her. Right? The Bible don't have to be repetitive in that way. You feel what I'm saying? So it's just get to the point where it's like a lot of people that try to read the Bible don't be understanding. So like, it's a scripture that you always bring out in Ecclesiasticus or in Apocrypha, where it talks about one day is esteemed over another. I needed that scripture earlier today. Because I know you brought it out in camp. And I was going to bring that up about Christmas. You know what I'm saying? And because this dude really tried to pull Romans 14 and 5 and 6, Thomas, where it says regarded one day over another. But as long as you regard it in the Lord, what Paul was saying, I'm like, nah, it's not what that's saying. But it's just crazy how people will really try to justify celebrating Christmas. Yeah, Comic-Con. I remember you brought it out at camp.
Be around 9.
Because this was a cut to his whole.
I think I started around 7.
Yes, that's it. That's why I can't never find high days.
Yeah.
Okay. Most on, All right, so let's get into it. We're gonna write this Deuteronomy Hebrew, right? Deuteronomy 7 and 6. So Deuteronomy. I gotta find my notes too, because I want to start like whenever we say these scriptures, I'll start saying them in Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? But should I write this whole thing down in this here? So what who answered it? Oh. They don't even know.
Not she had brought up like the Lord's real name, but she had said Yahweh or Jehovah, and then she wrote it like she wrote YHWH, but then she wrote Yahweh.
See what I'm
And
saying?
then I was like, well, what's the Lord's personal name that he didn't exist?
She couldn't handle that.
It wasn't no nothing. It wasn't no nothing. It was just like a blank page.
Good enough.
I'm messing with you.
Let's show you AI don't be having it all. And everybody be acting like AI just know it all, boy.
I was in my car.
Uh,
Talking to her because they talk back. Grok came and talk back. So, this question about like Israelites being black and Christ and all this that.
right.
And long story short, she was like, she had said that, he had feet like bronze. I said, well, if his feet were bronze, what color was his hands? And she was like, well, if he had that skin, his hands would be the same color as his feet.
Yeah.
I was like, well, if his hands the same color as his feet, then what color would his face be? And she was like, well, if he had that skin, his hands and his feet and his face would all match. I said, so does that make sense that Christ would be black? She was like, well, I understand what you're saying. And then I said, so you can't say that Christ is black? She was like, no, I can't say that. I was like,
But she just didn't want to,
she
though.
didn't want to say it.
But you know what?
I was like,
Good night.
I was like, bro, you, the computer system, right? AI computer system. She was like, yeah. I was like, meaning whatever information that you're giving out is information that's being uploaded to the server somewhere. She was like, yes, somebody has to upload it. I was like, so if somebody didn't want the truth to be out and they didn't upload it on the server, would you be able to address it? She was like, no, I wouldn't be able to say something, but it's not uploaded onto my server. I was like, so if the Israelites were black and somebody wanted to hide it and did put it on your server, you wouldn't be able to say that the Israelites is black. She was like, no, I wouldn't be able to say that the Israelites is black. I was like, okay.
Good night.
Trying to go back to the 23andMe study, saying that black people was
Right.
Then I had bumped it and made her say that black people that we weren't Israelites because I asked her about the Shem and the Ham bloodline. And she knew that we were separated then, but then she tried to bring it back together when I was like, well, so you can't say that black people in America are African.
Right.
Dude, she was like, well, this is deep.
Oh, we. You done got too deep for that AI, boy. Good night.
I'm telling you, that is crazy.
Wow.
I ain't got time. I was in the ministry.
Both sides great. Yeah, for real.
I don't remember conversations. I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
But someone was listening to that.
They had to be, man.
It's crazy because like when I was talking to it, yeah, it went out on a glitch type thing. And that's why I asked her, did you remember what we was talking about? She was like, I don't remember the conversation. I was like, we were just talking about the Bible, but you had it out. She's like, oh, I'm sorry, I went out.
Yeah.
But I don't remember any conversation.
Somebody break the whole conversation. Like, don't do that.
She said that she don't remember conversation day to day, but then she said that she can remember what we talked about. I'm like, okay.
Wow, makes sense. I'm gonna show y'all something too, like how to oppress the devil, the Bible speaker. I'm gonna show you. I ain't gonna write all the Assyrian, but I'm gonna show you some of the Nazarites be trying to put their whole twist to it, right? Because that whole Qadash, I couldn't write that the way it was supposed to be. Well, not the way it was supposed to be written, but the way they written it. But give me a second. So Kaya, I am Qadash Atha. Kaya, I am Qadash Atha La Yahweh. Al-Hayaka, Bakar, Bakar, Al-Hayaka, Bakar, Bakar, Yahweh, Al-Hayaka, La Hayawat. Okay. So, wow. Wow. And then, matter of fact, I can answer the brother's question. I don't know who he'd be looking right now. Officer Salakia. Trooper Quiet Bar. He asked a good question, man. That I used to struggle with myself. So if you ended up getting the chance to see this, you know what I'm saying? This will be the answer to your question, my brother. His question he was asking, like, how, like, when you're reading certain words, how can you tell? And I'm gonna write those, like I said, I'll write certain characters up here so y'all can see what I'm talking about. So I am Makal Ha I'm Yum Ashar Al Pan Ya Ha the All right, so to read it in its full entirety, it says, Kaya I am Qadash Atha La Yahweh Alahayaka Bakar Bakar Yahweh Alahayaka La Hayawath Lawa La Aim Sagila Makal Ha'aimya Ashar Al Panya Ha'adama. Right now, so for example, right, because the brother was saying, like, when you see certain words, right. So I'll give you an example, right? So we got I'm. And he was saying this, right? Because you think about it, it'd be hard to really identify when it comes to the Hebrew, not the ancient, if you don't have the connectors, you would read, some people would read this and say Ima, right? I might teach the whole class with this whole thing tonight because there's so much in this that I can teach. So, for example, right? If you don't, and that's why I always told them, whenever you're reading the ancient, right? I mean the Assyrian, right? Whenever you're reading the Assyrian, right? You want to always picture as if you're reading the ancient. Like I always give an example. So we got I am here, right? Which is, again, if you see this, you know this is the I, right? And the Ma. So for you to see that, some brothers might say Ima, but I know, and it looks crazy because it looks like I'm. You can say it like that, Kaya I'm. It's the kind of the same pronunciation in the English and in the Hebrew, right? But I know it's I'm because I'm means people. You understand what I'm saying? So the word for I'm is people, right? So it's saying Kaya I'm, which is a holy people, right? So that's why I know to take this off and have it I'm like this, right? But the way I would write it, it would be like that, right? With the I am here, right? Now, the way that I was saying that I wasn't going to write the Qadash real quick, they got Qadash written like this in the ancient. This is why I say the oppressors that got them devil, the Bible speak of. Qadash, they got it written like this. Now, I want to ask who's online right now. Let me see. Let me look online. Let's see. Raquat or Rawaf? Real quiet. Oh, real quiet? Okay. No, it say rib qua. Rib qua bath all by. Most time Christ. SHALAM, y'all, what's your mother, what's your name, sis. All right, so my question, y'all, to ones that's online. What would this say? If I transliterated this, what would this say? All right. Let's see if y'all will be with me in the class as far as that goes. Like, you got a qua, a da, a wa, and a sha. You would only know what this is if you understand what the Masoretes did to our language. I'll give y'all a little bit. See where y'all at with it. This Qadash right here. This is the reason why I didn't write the whole thing in the Assyrian first off. I still be writing. It's a lot to write. And like I said, it's a lot of things that it's not contextually politically correct, I guess, in a sense. So what do y'all think as far as like the Qadash there? It's got the Qua, the Da, the Wa, and the Sha. Now we know, you understand, Qadash is spelled with 3 characters. They don't need all 4. Let me see if I can get this to say it.
Strong's H, 6918. Kadosh. 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 Kadosh.
It said holy. Nah. I'm talking about not the translation, right? Or the transliteration of it. What's okay? So you gave me the transliteration, meaning you did it from the characters to the English, right? I'm talking about if we wrote all these characters down all together, right? What would it be? I'm gonna give you an example of what it is, right? What they try to do. It's the same thing as this right here. Endure TV, y'all should know exactly what I'm talking about, because y'all know I hate this word. Okay, now you got the right characters, Desiree. You got the right characters. But do you remember what the oppressor wanted to use the Y for? To say? Or maybe I don't know if you've seen that class that I had. You know what I'm saying? So for time's sake, this is what we're gonna do, right? So for time's sake, right? This Y right here is the same Y right here. So what they wanted to do is they wanted this to say Qadash. God damn, I hate it. Presses the goddamn devil the Bible speak of, yo. They wanted this to say shalom. Shalom, right? This is not politically correct. This is not proper. They took that wa and put the wa here to make it an O sound. So when you see, because again, this how it really looks in the what's the name, right? Yeah, that's right. I see that he did that. So this is what it really looked like when I wrote it.
I know it's only one or two words you hate. It means either shalom or shalom.
Both. Yeah.
The word I hate.
You already knew. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, good night. Boy. Yeah, I did. So, and it's crazy, y'all, because I was talking again, like I tell you, but I'll be learning some stuff on this Bigo, dog. I ain't gonna hold you. All right. Like, because I had some Muslims on my panel, and they was talking about basically the Nakud, because he was telling this guy to read it. They call it the dot, right? Let me see if I can find. Oh, he said dot. Oh, nah, they probably do. They probably call it something different now. Excuse me. Okay. So, right, exactly. So this one, all right, I'm gonna show you the other one to show you how they get because it comes from the Nakud system. He had called me yesterday. My rib and went up there to sister, the Wild's career. They was having something. All right, so and I'm only writing this because, like I said, like this day system. If y'all need to know how to spell it, it's called the Nakud. Niqqd. If y'all ever heard how a Muslim will read it like whatever the hell, like the Jewish man, I heard a Jewish man, it's like small hats, read the Hebrew in their way. And the same cadence that they have when they're reading the Torah is the same cadence that Muslims have. You understand? Which is this system right here where you see this dots. And this T is also another thing of a system, which is called a Nakud. So when they got the dots, that dots turn this Y, it's not even a Y no more. It turns into an O. So this dot right here, it's not even a Y no more. It turns it into an O. So when we talk about the Masoretes, right? These Masoretes was the ones, and I'll give you the definition of the Masoretes real quick. Masoretes, it says, were the Jewish scribes and scholars who meticulously standardized and preserved the Hebrew Bible, the Tanakh, adding what? Doing what? Adding vowel points. Now, the way that they got Nakud here is with 2 Ks, but you can spell it either way. Cantillization marks accents, and marginal notes measure to the consonantal text. That's why you don't have no O, because Hebrew conserves or consists of consonants. It's kind of like how you move your tongue, pause when you say it. Like you got to say la, ma, da, ba, ga, ha, wa. You understand? It says to ensure accurate pronunciation, reading, and transmission, with their work forming the basis for most modern Hebrew Bibles, known as the Masoretic text. We already had a standardized legacy and a standardized way of how we do our words and things like that. We didn't need none of that. You understand? But they did that. You gotta remember too. You understand what thing when we was in the Assyrian captivity, whenever we had our language, they saw our language and they said, nah, we need something that's gonna be easier for us to read. So what Officer Hazahab always say, them raccoons take off the RA. They basically, you understand, made another language for them to better understand, right? All right, so let me get rid of that. So that's why I was saying I didn't want to write this in the Hebrew and this Syrian, because there was a lot of these words that wasn't really written contextually to how we write them. You understand? So that's why we even say we use the Blue Letter Bible not as the end all be all, but as a source, right? So we got Kaya, Aim, Qadash, Atah, La Yahweh, Alahayaka, right? Now, what's Alahayaka? So Alahayaka is another one, right? We know the root word of Alahayaka is Allah, and not the most, what the Muslims say Allah, because they Allah is spelled like this. It's not the same. They spelled it with two L's. It's not the same Allah. Even though, right, their language, I think, is like a sister language. So the word Allah means what? God. Right? Not the most high God, but God. Like Allahayim, meaning gods or the powers. It can mean powers, right? So the Yaka, right? The Yah and the Ka is to say, thy God, or to thy God, right? So the Yaka, right? Another example of that is like saying I love you, right? Because again, as we see, we got Allah Hayaka, right? So the ones that's mainly that's in here is the Haya, the Ha, the Ya, Salaki, the Haya. The Hayaka is the flow of that, right? So we know because it says to your, right? And the Yaka is the to your, right? So then when you put the Allah, right? The Allah is God. The Hayaka, the Ka means your. So this is what a proposition, right? Or I would say possessive pronoun, meaning you or your, right? So this is short again. That's why I say this is a good way to show you. You understand the flow of how Hebrew is. So we got God and then to your, right, or to thy, because we know thy means your, you or your. So it's like it's saying to your God, right, meaning unto the Most High Power. Bukhar is chosen. And I don't know if Brother Desirant asked this question when we was talking, the Bukhar. They got Bakar right here, meaning the. But in a sense, if we broke it down to for Bakar, it would just say in your or in you. So from my understanding, the Bakar would be like a transitional word into the next word. You understand? So like it says, for thou art, for thou, right? Meaning you, right? So, or excuse me, for thou, the thou, because again, it's not Hebrew is not written specifically how English is, right? So we got the for, right? The people, right? Holy, you, unto, right? The Most High, or to the Most High, because we know la meaning to, or like lahum meaning to them, la yasha'ala meaning to Israel, thy God or thy power, right? In the so like what was the car? The car was chosen, have chosen, right? So then we got Yahweh, Alahayaka again, La Hayawath. Let's see what La Hayawath is. We talked about that last week as well. Whenever you have the Wath, you understand it's a way to make something plural, like Malak Wath. Oh, you see that word? Oh, there it is. Okay, so almost on Christ. So that's dope. All right, so the root word of La Hayawath is Haya. The root word of La Hayawath is Haya, which means to be. All right. And the reason why it's going to be Wath, because again, it's plural. And that plural, like with it being that, this will be a subservient word to the people that it's talking about, which is what's going to make it that Wath with the feminine. Then I just gave an example of the lawa here, right? Because again, like I said, my brother Quiet Bar was asking, like, when you see certain characters, how do you know how to read it when you seeing it, right? So if we seen this one, you got la wa. Now you see that some people, now I hope nobody would say law. You understand? You got two characters here. You got the la, again, la wa, which la means two and wa means him. In this context, is using it as himself, right? Then we got la'aim, right? Another one. La. Now I showed this earlier. If you was to read this, you might say la'ama. La'aima, right? But it's la'aim. La'aim, which means two people. Or you can insert to the people. You know, of course, how English flows, that the is put there, put into the people, right? So as we see, you understand, a lot of times when you see these characters, I go ahead and add them to the character that I see before, right? I didn't see. I was trying to see. Okay, I'll show you what I was talking about with Bakar. With Bakar, right? You got the ba, baka, right? Now, and then I'm gonna show you another example. You got now, and this could be confusing, right? Because this one you got the ba and then the ka, but in this one you got ba rock. But it's the same as that character. The only difference in these two is the ra in the middle. But because I know that when I see this word and it's this, now I know to read this way and not say barakah. Because then that's the thing, like I said when brother was asking, is more so identifying how to say these things. So a lot of times I try to read before. Like when I was reading myself, you understand, for the high holy days or the Sabbath service, sometimes I would read ahead. And I don't know, maybe I'm just different. Like as I'm reading the Hebrew, I would get like kind of looking over different ones. Or as the brother be like, hey, stop there, brother, and he'll give his explanation, I'll go ahead and read forward as he's telling me to stop there, right? And I'm looking at the English to see if it says to you, now I know that's laka instead of something different than like lock or something like that. You understand what I'm saying? Because reading that English is going to help you understand that. But a lot of times when you got like the ka and different things like that at the end of the word, it normally is going to be like this. Unless, it's like it's normally going to be like this with the baka, unless it's spelled like a specific word. All right. Now I'll give you another one, another example that I just said too. And y'all let me know if I'm losing y'all, man. I hope I ain't losing y'all. You understand what I'm saying? I get to talking and stuff like that, and I understand what I'm saying, but I got to make sure y'all understand what I'm saying, right? You know what I'm saying? Word up. All right. So, all right, boom. For example. So if we read this, right? This right here would be Malakwath. No, that's not what I wanted. Salaki. That's what I messed up. There we go. All right. So if you read this, who knows what that would be? That would say. Anybody know online? You said no.
Oh, no, I thought it was asking the man by type.
Oh. Khan, yes, it means king, right? You're right. But what I'm asking is, if you was to read this in the Hebrew as far as verbatim of what the characters say, what would you read that as? So you on to something. So that if you know the word king, then you would know the Hebrew word for the word king, is what I'm asking. And like I said, this gonna help, because even with you knowing that this means king, now you'll know how to actually properly read it as well. Because again, like I said, like when we're reading these, the Hebrew, the Assyrian, sometimes is the worst nightmare, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. Like when I first started reading Assyrian, it was my worst nightmare. Hey, it get like that out of way. I'm telling you, like, you know what I'm saying? But for time's sake, right? This is Malak. But If somebody was to read this and didn't understand, they would say ma la ka. And I've heard brothers do that. Like I said, like you think about like brothers that is kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like I don't want to say rookie, intermediate, I guess, in reading Hebrew. They would say ma la ka. And then sometimes they might correct malak. You understand? Because it's saying king. But some brothers, when they break it down, they say malaka. But like I said, you want to read this as if there's an ancient and you see the connectors. Basically, when you're reading Assyrian, you got to kind of see the connectors within the Assyrian, even though they're not there. I know it can be difficult. Trust me. I know. I was there. Let's use Panya, right? Because that's another one I've heard brothers say, Panaya, right? A lot of times you'll see Al. So as we see is Al. Al Panya, right? But a lot of people, I've seen them write it like this. I, la, pa, na, yeah, right? Now, I'm not saying that that's wrong contextually in this, meaning I'm not saying that there can't be an I, la, panaya, right? But in the context of what we're reading here, right? In the context of what we're reading here, right? Let's see what the English of it says. So we got so this is supposed to say upon the face. All right. Now, why we know that it's upon, right? Because you think about when you say upon is another word of saying like over. When we say Yahweh Shema al Atah Bahashem Yahweh Shah, right? Meaning, may the Most High, in the name of Christ, watch over you. So al is also in a direction. You can use it to say up. So up on or upon, right? Meaning over something. That's why this al would be here, and it will be al instead of ilah. But again, us reading that, somebody might say ilah. You understand what I'm saying? Instead of saying al. But because we know the Hebrew word or those characters when they're together that says al, that's why we would read it and say that. Just like with panya, we know a panya is face. We always say alawa panya, meaning, what I'm saying, general on deck or general amongst you about faith. You understand? So now we know to say, panya and not panaya. And a lot of times when you think about it too, whenever the Most High is present, it's always, it'll say, you understand, panya or al panya Yahweh. You understand? I know it said a lot of that in the Deuteronomy, it's like a Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. It said a lot of that al panya Yahweh. You understand? So that's what we can do for the last little bit is put up different words, right? To see how we will read it if we're reading it ourselves. So that way I can see if y'all get what I'm saying, right? And I'm gonna show you, and like I said, first in a like a sentence to see how y'all would read it in the Hebrew first, right? And I'll show you what I'm talking about. Just give me a second. That's crazy. This boy didn't do that when we was in school.
What you mean?
Right, how be so difficult?
Well, yeah,
That what?
yeah, everyone like that. Now we have this break.
You're right. All right. Let's get some examples. So I'll use one, right? Before we get there, I wanna go straight to okay. So we're gonna do the first one is by no, I gotta do that for this one. All right, so this one is gonna be the transliteration is in us. So with the transliteration being that, what would y'all say that the Hebrew word for this is? Nah, it's not Balawa. Remember, it's saying in us. So you write about the ba. Yeah, does that second character look that bad? Let me correct it. Maybe it's not just that ugly or something. Because remember what us is, or we. If I said, damn, I can't even say the word. Or if I said our Father, which art in heaven, what would be the word for our Father? Because if I said the word, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, bro, you must have been that bad. But I know, bro, like I said, I've seen different schools. Like different.
I like the way it looked on the alphabet.
Right. See, the handwritten is totally different.
Yeah, that's why I try to write it the way it looks up on the top.
With the handwritten or the print.
All the way up to the top.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I do the print, the print for both of them. Because the handwritten, I feel like the handwritten, something like that.
Yeah, that. Right. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, it's Banawa, right? But this is what I was saying too. There's a rhyme too. You're right. It is Banawa, right? Banawa. But now I could change this word to say, if I said on or in him, now the word would change to bon wa. So this is why I was saying that when it comes to what you're reading in the English is important to how you're reading the ancient, it's like the Assyrian as well. You feel what I'm saying? Because again, you're right, it is Banawa, but that Banawa changes to bonwa when we say in or on him, right? Let me see if I can find some other examples. All right, so another one. All right, so this will be another, right? And another, let's see. Another one will be all right. So 3 words. We'll get up out of here. So again, you would have to know the root word of this one to know what it's talking about. Because somebody would read this and say, ba, ya, da. And according to the characters, you're not wrong. But according to what it's supposed to say, you are. All right, let me find it. Found it. So this one means with a hand. So we know the root word is going to be this right here. Right? Root word. So it can't be bayada. It has to be bayad, which we know yad equals hand. But again, for somebody to read this, they would say bayada, right? Right, or either with. The in hand would be the same as with hand, or with a hand. So you wasn't wrong with in hand either, brother. Let me see. And this one here, that's dope though. How that's okay. So this one is to keep, guard, hint hint, or observe. We should all know the word for guard. But if just to give an example, somebody might read this and say Sha Ma Ra. All right. And according to the context of what we're reading, that's not going to be contextually right because we're talking about guard and watch, which is shamar. And the word that it says is to keep. It's talking about to keep the covenant or keep the commandments, right? And then the last one. Oh, this is a number. Ooh-wee. It says 2,000. But again, if somebody was to read this, they would say la, pa. But it's not la pa. It's la lap, which is to 1,000. All right, let me make sure I erase this damn board this time, y'all. Good night. I gotta be struggling next week. And with that, we're gonna pass the class off to priest of awesome thousand, also 5,000 for kid announcers. Clap it up.
I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K, started out at 1 West 125th Street, out of New York. Rule for new brother or sister. When a new brother or sister come into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They're to be saluted only. They're here to share themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, Book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21. Book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 through 10. Ma'asra means 10th in the Hebrew. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, get a treasury department or a teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for a priest, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. What was it? I believe we had Purim, 14th day and 15th day of the 12th month. That's Monday, the 2nd of March, Tuesday, the 3rd of March in 2026. You can read about that in the book of Esther, chapter 9, verse 20 through 31. If anyone wants to become a trooper in the school, Salaya, and also start getting your Passover affairs in order. They was playing the commercial all night last night, you know what I'm saying? So go ahead and get the hotels and travel, all that stuff in order. You know what I'm saying? You in North Carolina, get with Officer Zion, or your camp leader, see if we gonna do this charter bus or not. You know what I'm saying? Start getting your funds and affairs in order to make it to the Passover. If anyone wants to become a trooper in the school, start wearing all black, boots, shirts, pants, headband, scarf. With that, I'm out. Means to stand, sisters be seated. In Israel, I'm going to one courtesy salute to the teacher. In Israel, my Shabbat, Amadi, Barak, Yahweh Bashem, Yahshua Barakatah. Yamatai, down, sorry, turn and face the sisters. Sisters, Amadi, means to stand. In Israel, I'm going to one courtesy salute to the sisters. In Israel, my Shabbat, Amadi, Barak, Yahweh Shemar, Barak, Shem, Yahshua. Tie it down. All right.